Welcome to SV Union High School and Junior College.
Welcome students. Standard 6 History Chapter number 8 States After the Modern Empire Part 1. Today we are going to learn about the new lesson, that is Chapter 8 States After the Modern Empire. So let us start. In this lesson we are going to learn about 6 important points. First one is the Shunga dynasty. Second, Indo-Greek kings. Third, Kushana kings. Fourth, the Gupta dynasty. Fifth, the Vardhan dynasty. And sixth, powers in northeast India. Let us start with the first point, that is 8.1, the Shunga dynasty. There were 4 rulers of Shunga dynasty. Pushyamitra Shunga, ruling from 185 BC to 151 BC. Second is Agnimitra, ruling from 149 BC to 141 BC. Third is Bhagbhadra, ruling from 114 BC to 83 BC. And the last one, that is Devabhuti, ruling from 87 BC to 73 BC. Capital of Shunga dynasty was Patliputra, and its major centers were Ujjain, Mathura, Saket, Sanchi and Kapilavastu. Vidisha was the capital of later Shunga rulers. The empire included modern West Bengal and parts of Bangladesh, some parts of northern Orissa, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. Agnimitra, who was the second king of Shunga dynasty, was the son of Pushyamitra Shunga, who succeeded his father and reigned for about a period of 8 years. Bhagbhadra was also a king of Shunga dynasty. Devabhuti was the last ruler of the Shunga dynasty. After Emperor Ashoka, Mauryan power started declining. Declining means it started becoming weaker. The last Mauryan emperor was called Brihadratha. The Mauryan general Pushyamitra Shunga revolted against Brihadratha and killed him and became the king himself. Let's see the next point, that is 8.2, Indo-Greek kings. During this period, there were several small kingdoms ruled by Greek kings to the northwest of the Indian subcontinent, and those kings are known as Indo-Greek kings. In the history of the coins of ancient India, the coins of these kings, that is Indo-Greek kings, are very important. They had a tradition of putting the picture of the king on one side and that of a deity on the other side. Deity means God. You can see in this picture, on one side you can see the picture of the king, that is King Menander, and on the other side you can see their god. This tradition later took root in India. One of the famous Indo-Greek king was Menander, who discussed Buddhist philosophy with the Buddhist bhikkhu Nagasena. Nagasena is the name of that Buddhist bhikkhu. Menander is also referred to as Milinda. That means Menander was also called as Milinda. The question that he discussed with Bhikkhu Nagasena led to the creation of the book, which was called as Milind Panha. And the Pali word for Panha means question. So Milind Panha is a book which is written by King Menander. And what is written in this book, children? The discussion which took place between King Menander and Buddhist Bhikkhu Nagasena. The question which King Menander asked to Buddhist Bhikkhu Nagasena is all written in Milind Panha. So here Panha is a Pali word. And what is the meaning of this word Panha? Panha means question. So children, the question which were asked by Menander, that is King Menander, to Buddhist Bhikkhu Nagasena is all written in it, and also what answers are being given by the Buddhist Bhikkhu Nagasena, that is also being written in this book, that is Milind Panha. Let us start with the next point, that is 8.3, Kushana kings. The Kushana was an empire formed by the Yauzi in the Bactrian territories in the early 1st century. Yauzi means the Chinese people who belong to the nomadic tribes, and Bactrian is presently in Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan. It spread to much of the modern day territory of Afghanistan, Pakistan, and northern India. The Kushanas were most probably one of the five branches of the Yauzi Confederation, an Indo-European nomadic people of possible Tocharian origin who migrated from northwestern China and settled in Bactria. The founder of the dynasty, Kujula Kadphises, followed Greek religious ideas after the Greco-Bactrian tradition but was also a devotee of the Hindu god Shiva, an almost historical necessity due to the presence of Indian culture and traders on the Silk Route. The Kushanas in general were also great patrons of Buddhism. India was invaded from time to time. Invaded means attacked. From time to time by several tribes. The Kushanas were one such tribe from Central Asia. They established their rule in the northwestern region and in Kashmir in the 1st century CE. Northwestern means what, children? Northwestern means basically in Afghanistan, Pakistan, that side. The Kushana kings were the first to start minting of gold coins in India. They started the custom of putting the images of Gautam Buddha and different Indian deities on the coins. The Kushan king Kanishka extended their empire. Here you can see, children, the picture. You can see on the right side, you can see the picture of Gautam Buddha on the coin, and on the left side you can see the picture of the emperor Kanishka. Kanishka's empire extended from Kabul in the west to Varanasi in the east. Gold and copper coins minted by him have been found in North India. The fourth Buddhist council was held in Kashmir during his reign, that is during Kanishka's reign. He established the city of Kanishkapur in Kashmir. It is believed that the village of Kampur near Srinagar today could be Kanishkapur. The well-known poet Ashwaghosh lived during the reign of Kanishka. He wrote the text Buddha Charita and Vajrasuchi. The famous Vaidya Charaka was also in Kanishka's court. Do you know Kanishka's gold coin? It was minted by Emperor Kanishka. It has the words Shao Nano Shao Kanishki Koshano on one side. It means King of Kings, Emperor Kanishka Kushana. On the other side, there is an image of Gautam Buddha and the word Bodo meaning Buddha written in the Greek script. Now, we will see the next point, that is 8.4, the Gupta dynasty. The end of the 3rd century CE saw the rise of the Gupta dynasty in North India. The Guptas remained in power for nearly 3 centuries. Sri Gupta was the founder of the Gupta dynasty. Samudragupta and Chandragupta II were the notable kings of the Gupta dynasty. Let us see about the king, that is Samudragupta. Samudragupta was a notable king of the Gupta dynasty. The expansion of the Gupta empire began during the reign of Chandragupta I. His son Samudragupta defeated the smaller neighboring kingdoms and extended the empire further. In his time, the Gupta Empire spread from Assam up to Punjab. He had also conquered the eastern coastal region up to Kanchi in Tamil Nadu. Due to these victories, his power came to be recognized everywhere. As a result, kings on the northwestern frontier as well as those in Sri Lanka made treaties of friendship with him. Here treatises means it is a formal agreement or arrangement made between two states. If there would be any danger situation or difficult situation, they can ask for their help in such situation as per the legal agreement. If it is being written in that agreement, as per that they can follow certain things. A pillar inscription at Prayag describes Samudragupta's conquest and victories. This inscription is known as Prayag Prasishti and also as Allahabad Prashishti. He was an expert veena player. Samudragupta minted coins which had a variety of images engraved on them. In one of them, he is seen playing the veena. His name, Samudragupta, is engraved on it. You can see here, children, the picture is given. In one picture, you can see that he is playing the veena, and his name is also engraved on the right side. After Samudragupta, his son Chandragupta II ascended the throne. He extended the Gupta Empire towards the northwest. He also won Malwa, Gujarat, and Saurashtra. He established good relations with the powerful Vakataka rulers in the south by giving his daughter Prabhavati in marriage to Rudra Sen II. There is an iron pillar at Mehrauli near Delhi. It has not rusted even in the course of the last 1500 years. It is an excellent specimen of the metallurgical skill of the ancient Indian people. The inscription on the pillar bears the name of a king called Chandra. It is on this basis that the iron pillar is assumed to be of the period of Chandragupta II. Do you know the Chinese traveler Fa Hin came to India during the reign of Chandragupta II? In his travelogue, he has described the social life during the Gupta period. He says that Indian cities are big and prosperous. There are several guest houses for travelers and also several charitable organizations. The city has hospitals where the poor people get medical treatment free of charge. There are great vihars and temples. People are free to choose any occupation. They move about freely. There are no restrictions on their movement. Government officers and soldiers are paid their salaries regularly. People do not drink alcohol or commit violence. The administration of the Gupta rule is conducted in a proper and efficient manner. In this period, the Bauddha Bhikkhu Fa Hin came to India from China. He has written on account of his travels in India. From his writings, we learn about the efficient administration of the Gupta emperors. So, the Gupta Empire, the Gupta rule was conducted in a proper and efficient manner. That we come to know, children, with the help of the writings which are being written by the Chinese traveler, that is Fa Hin. Students, now let us stop here and we will see the remaining part of this lesson in the next video, that is chapter number 8, India after the Mauryan Empire, part 2. Thanks a lot for watching my video. Thank you.